What's going on, guys? It's 6:30 in the morning on a Saturday. Going to meet up with my buddy Luke, who has a turbo new Edge Mustang. Super cool. Luke, I met him back in my Focus days. He had a Focus SVT at the time that he turboed. So we've remained friends, and both have Mustangs now. He's definitely another guy that does everything himself. You know, this guy turns all his own wrenches. He's actually tuning the car himself, partially. We'll get into that as we get there. But yeah, we were going to take my car, but my car is still torn apart. We're doing a few more things to the car to get it ready for next Friday's track day to try to get that 9 done, hopefully. So yeah, my car, as you can see, is in pieces. So we're doing a little bit more weight reduction on that. I'll talk about that in the next video. You see the Aviator behind me. My wife got a new whip. This thing is sweet. I'll try to maybe do a review on that. I'm still trying to learn everything about it. Actually have some stuff planned for that. Probably gonna get a tune and exhaust, and we're gonna make it a mean Aviator. So anyway, we're gonna jump in the truck. We're gonna go over and meet up with Luke. What's up, dude?
What's going on?
All right, air high five. Man, perfect day, huh?
Oh yeah, gorgeous.
So this is Luke. I've known this guy since our Focus days. He had an SVT Focus that he turboed.
It was even before that.
We got the Oakland County Sheriffs over here checking us out. So yeah, before that, what did you have before that?
I just had a base ZX5 hatchback.
That's right.
I had a eBay setup on it.
Right. So that's what I think's really cool about Luke is all his cars are he turns all his own wrenches. He's tuned. You tuned the other car yourself, right? A little bit.
No, this is the first one I've tuned.
Okay, so he's learned. His cars are teaching him new skills. Welding now. You welded some stuff in this car, right?
I did fabricate something for this build, yes.
Yeah. So super cool. We were just talking about what we were gonna call this breakdown, and we said, you know, budget build, but you know, all of his stuff looks like a shop built it. So I mean, it's come a long way.
I know,
man.
you gotta get a little closer. But.
Yeah. So that's what's super cool about this. So we'll get into it. What year's the car? What did it start out as?
So it's a 2001, mid-year 2001 Mustang GT, 2-valve. Obviously, at that point, it's got the 3650 TR 3650 5-speed trans. Car started out actually pretty well set up from when I bought it, so I sadly had to choose, but I had to sell my my SVT Focus,
which was a beautiful car. I'll put a picture of that up.
Which a friend of mine ended up buying it, so it's still around. I still get to see it from time to time, so it's in good hands, which makes me feel better. But I ended up selling that, and then I ended up, through a whole long side story, but ended up finding this down in southern in Illinois.
Okay.
So really good deal, but it had just about every bolt-on you could think of, with the exception of forced induction and headers. But it had exhaust, suspension work, brakes, cold air. I mean, it had pretty much everything already on it. A stock shifter too, but I mean, essentially for making a very well handling vehicle, it was already set up. So me and a buddy of mine drove down, picked it up, drove it home, and been building on it ever since. So it's kind of morphed slowly over the last few years.
Yeah, so it had a centrifugal on it first, right?
Yeah, well, yep. So I drove it for one season, NA, as the way I bought it, and then the next summer I ended up piecing together a used Paxton Novi 1000 kit.
Did you hear that? Piecing together Paxton Novi kit.
Yeah, it's that old. It was an older unit, probably one of the first generation units, and massive one too. So non-intercooled setup, so I had challenges there with that. So I had that on last summer.
Yep.
And that was at our dyno day.
Yep.
And I ended up putting down, that was the first car I tuned, and this is the first car I tuned by myself. So we ended up putting down with 410 gears, put down 385 horse, 375 torque at the wheel. And that was on about almost 12 pounds of boost and ridiculous charge temps.
Yeah,
so,
non-intercooled with those
no timing,
centrifugals. Yeah,
there's no timing in it at all.
That's a pretty impressive number, though, and the car sounded sick on that setup. I know it's going to sound way different with the turbo, but
yeah, I kind of miss it.
Yeah, it sounded sweet. It's actually in one of the previous videos on the dyno. You can check that out. So All right, well, let's get into it. We just pulled up, and the first thing Trenton said was, these wheels are the sickest wheels ever. So talk about these wheels, because they look like they cost like $4,000.
Yeah, everybody, I always get stopped and asked, you know, are those 2 or 3 piece? And I'm like, they're 1. And everybody just kind of shakes and blinks at me like, you're kidding, right? And no, they're 1 piece. They're 8-on AHO1s. They're honestly just a budget. They're a budget wheel, but they're a good wheel. They were kind of an impulse buy, to be honest. So I just wanted something different. Everybody else is picking off of American Muscle and LMR websites and catalogs, and I just couldn't bring myself to do it. So while I appreciate a lot of the styles they carry, I just wanted to be a little bit different. So.
Sure.
But
see if this cop's gonna come say something to us. Oh, I don't think he is.
I think he's just doing his rounds.
Yeah, so they look sweet, and it's on a ET Street SS in the back. What size is that tire?
305.
How's that hook?
All the time.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's probably the best tire for the street.
It's almost frustrating because you can't even get wild or fun with it from time to time.
Well, you might be able to here soon with the new setup. So, what color is this car?
This is officially Ford color True Blue.
True Blue. And you see the license plate. People plow. True to the Mustang roots.
If you're gonna own it.
Yeah, so the wheels look sweet. We got any other plans for the exterior of it, or are you gonna leave it the way it is?
Honestly, it's nothing that's really in short-term sight. I mean, I've played with the thought of wrapping it at one point.
No, I love this color, man.
I do love this color too. It's 20 years old, so I'm a bit of a perfectionist. I do detailing as well, as you know. So
yep.
The car's been paint corrected to its maximum mobility right now, and it's been ceramic coated. So you know, it is what it is for right now. But there's imperfections of wear of 20 years old.
How many miles are on this thing?
136.
136, and the paint. I don't know how good it's gonna come off in the camera, but it does look. I mean, it looks new. From, you know, there's definitely tell it's got some miles on it, but man, the paint looks amazing. Don't wrap it, dude. This color's so good. What's up with the seats? What seats are in this thing?
Honestly, these are Ching Chang Yang's eBay something or others. I actually got these off of a small deal with a buddy.
Cool.
I just couldn't stand the stock ones. I don't even know what brand or name they are. It was just kind of a trade deal. So this car had
They look comfy.
They actually aren't bad. I think they could be mounted a little bit better, which I may fiddle with this winter, but they're not quite centered as the way I'd like. But
and what, you got a wideband here, and what's the top one?
Wideband and boost, just a little boost gauge.
Cool.
And then on the other side, I've got my GFB GeForce 3 controller, EBC controller.
Okay, cool.
So.
And what software are you using to tune it?
Right now I'm on SCT. Just
okay, cool.
That's just the way I ended up going.
Yep.
I had already had it, all the software and licensing when I had the Focus, which was the only company that supported the SVT Focus.
And you're gonna tune. So. You're doing the tune start to finish on your own.
I got some friends that are kind of giving me some hints and tips here, some hands-on help, but for the most part, yeah, I'm just kind of doing research and thumbing through it, a lot of literature, a lot of reading at night. And
I think this is probably a great car to start learning on, being the cams are locked.
Yep.
You can't, you know, so.
And they're realistically, they're really resilient motors. They're so basic. There's so much support out there. There's so much knowledge. This is the beginnings of the mod motor generation.
Yep.
This is where it all started. And so there's so much information and so many people that still are deeply invested in this, that, you know, the information and resources are out there to get. So that's what really appealed to me too, as well, is there's just so much out there for it.
Sure.
So,
well, let's get under the hood.
That's the part. Dirty.
That's the part everyone wants to see. Yeah. Man, it's a perfect morning. Holy cow!
Is. We're gonna have a little bit of a Christmas theme going on under here. But.
All right, give us the quick and dirty on the turbo setup.
Okay. Well, so the turbo setup itself, it's an On3 Gen 2 kit, 70 millimeter front mount, and it's their basic kit. I didn't upgrade really anything. So I can't remember. I was trying to remember this morning. I couldn't find the paperwork on for the box for the turbo, but I forget what trim it is, or AR. I can't remember. I think it's like 8.6 or something.
Okay. And what's your end power goal going to be on the stock motor?
So originally I was wanting to not stop no matter what, hell or high water.
Sounds like me.
Until I reached 5. I wanted to see the first digit be a 5 at the tire.
Sure.
But kind of looking at some things, running into a couple little small bumps for now. I think that for learning purposes on my end and effectiveness on my budget, I think I'm going to just see how far I can get on the 42s on 93. Ultimately, I'd like to get on the 85.
Okay, so they're 42.
Yep, these are Bosch style
Injectors.
factory Ford 42 pound injectors, I believe out of a Lightning.
Okay.
So I got them secondhand. But
stock is the stock fuel system then pump?
So no, it's got a Walbro 450
Okay.
in tank. It is factory returnless, factory rails, factory lines, but upgraded injectors and pump, and that's pretty much it.
Okay, cool.
So fuel system is pretty basic.
So stock rails.
Yep.
Cool. And this is you made this tank, right?
Yes, sir.
I mean, look at this guy's welds. This guy's just like crazy. You can do this kind of stuff in your garage, people. Just gotta learn, right? Your welds didn't start off looking that good, did they?
No. No.
So the intake on this thing
Is stock.
the
Oh, the BBK.
Yeah.
Yep. That's the BBK 78 millimeter. It's the upper plenum and throttle body in one monoblock. So
okay.
very common bolt-on upgrade for these cars. So that was on the car when I bought it.
And
So-
what's the exhaust do once it goes down this downpipe?
So obviously it's a forward-facing setup now versus the old first gen, which was kind of had a long reroute.
Yep.
So now it's forward-facing, comes up into a Y, comes right up into the turbine housing, and then it goes down and out underneath the battery here.
Yep.
And a lot of guys that are more of a, they just don't give a care attitude. They'll just bumper
Right up the
cut it.
fender. Yeah.
I wanted a little bit more stealth with
Sure.
that, and I kind of wanted just a little bit cleaner. I don't like cutting holes and stuff if I don't have to.
Right.
So it actually comes over and then jumps up over the tie rod, which is my exhaust interference issue.
Got it.
That was an issue when I put it on, and I had modified it, but I need to modify it some more. So, and then jumps over the K member, and then underneath the vehicle, and then you might be able to get a sneak at it underneath, but it then goes into the Y split
Okay,
to
so it
accept the
splits at the
fact
back.
to accept a any aftermarket or factory X pipe.
Cool.
So,
Nice.
and then it goes out the back.
Yeah, this is the first time I've heard it turbo pulling up, and it still sounds badass. I think these motors are some of the coolest sounding motors.
They really are, and that's honestly when I was deciding to make the jump from the Focus, which I really, really love that car. I wish I could have held on to it and done this too, but I wanted to get into the V8 world. I wanted to step out and start, just try something different and new. And reason number 2 on my list was just the exhaust note of this car.
It sounds like a big block.
Right, which I've ultimately just killed, but I mean, it still sounds pretty good.
For sure.
So, it's a little raspy. It's got, there's no muffling. There's no mufflers on it at all. It's straight.
Well, you
pipe.
got this muffler right here.
Yeah, it's not much of
The
one.
spinning thing.
It's not much of one.
This is Luke's Instagram. Check him out. And you got a distribution block there for.
Yeah, I made
loose?
that up one day when I was bored at work.
Oh, you made that too?
Yeah.
Of course you did.
I ran a little short online, and then they were out of stock on the black, so the random blue lines just like running across it.
Hey man, gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah.
It's got a catch can on it.
Which I'm gonna probably fab up my own to accept the driver's side too, because right now that one's just venting the atmosphere.
I see that.
Basically reverse engineered the calibration, but I have a three bar GM map sensor. I machined a block for it to reference to, but essentially I have the ability now to log boost pressure versus all of the rest of my data. There's no control with it. It's
Right.
just a reference point
Sure.
when it comes to tuning. So I have that ability. I just wire it into my my data logger interface, and it'll log the information. with the cowl that I put in it. And then again, I converted to blow through MAF setup versus most of the Paxtons. Any of the centrifugals, at least on these older earlier gen mod motors, were all draw through.
Sure.
So I converted to blow through because that's what I'm familiar with. That's what I know. That's what I'm comfortable with. And so I just repinned the temp sensor. You can do that as long as you get a 6-pin MAF.
Okay.
And this is a PMAS unit, custom calibrated, so it's literally capable of just about anything I throw at it. So I welded the flange on there and put it where I wanted, and
Cool.
so.
And we didn't talk about the boost controller. What's I see it down there.
Yeah,
so it's electronic boost controller.
Yes, sir. Yep.
Cool.
So I actually had a GeForce 2 Gen 2 in the Focus.
Yep.
And so I love that unit. So they came out with their 3rd gen, which now has AFR integration for safety.
Oh, cool.
So so I bought that one, and that's
So it'll pop open the gate if
yeah,
it sees.
it's not all hooked. It's not all set up yet.
It's basically a fail-safe, though.
Yeah,
right?
it is a fail-safe.
Yeah.
It's 1 or 2 fail-safes, but basically, if you set up what stoik is, from there it references off of the wideband, and then you set the parameter of where you want it to cut. If it
Sees
falls
lane
outside of a
condition.
range
Yeah,
that
yeah.
you want it to, it
sure.
pulls all the power.
Sam, what springs in the wastegate?
It's a 5-pound spring.
Okay.
Is my assumption based on the pressures I'm getting. So
Right.
right now I've got the duty turned up just a kiss, and
Right.
it's at like 6.5 pounds right now.
Cool.
So, but that going 6 pounds, and then the intercooler, especially with this cooler weather, it's
Yeah, we didn't talk about the intercooler either. It's got a big, massive, obviously front mount on it. That thing is huge. That's big. What else are we missing? It's on coilovers, I see.
it is on coilovers. It's on a name that not a lot of people know, but they're geckos.
Geico, the insurance company.
Yeah, no, they are 24-way adjustable.
24-way.
24-way.
Oh yeah, I mean the top, but you can do camber on them. They have a plate on them.
Yep, the camber plates were an option. I splurged for those, so just because the car is going to be so extremely lower than factory.
And what's in the back?
Geckos
Same
as well,
coils.
yep.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
Yeah, the car sits perfect.
They ride awesome. They really do. I got the front turned up right now, just trying to make sure I don't smash that tie rod, but
right.
but otherwise they ride really well. I had them in my Focus, and I love them.
Yeah.
I'm going to stick with them forever as
Right
long
on.
as I make them.
Yeah,
so.
it's definitely a brand I've never heard of, but
They're
I trust you.
They're cheap too. I mean, cheap in terms of coilovers too. I think for the whole car, all 4 corners were $850 shipped.
That's a deal.
So
That is a deal. Well, yeah, man, it's so cool to see it. I've been just seeing pictures myself, so this is my first time seeing it all done. The turbo looks crazy big in there, so especially the exhaust side. But
yeah, the blanket makes it look bigger than it is.
Sure. It looks badass, but I think we should go drive it. What do you think?
Sure.
All right. fight. We're back home. That was a cool one. Really cool build, you know, budget build. That shows you what you can build on a budget, and that car is mean. It sounds just crazy. It moves out, and you know, he's just started tuning it. So thanks, Luke, to letting us shoot the video. We definitely have a lot more build breakdowns planned now that we can start to, you know, get a little closer to one another. So I got a lineup of cars we're going to get to this summer. We are going to the track on Friday of this coming week, weather permitting, to try to get this this goal done that we've been working on. So if you like this kind of content, please subscribe to the channel, like this video if you do, and thanks for watching, guys. Thanks. Peace.